request the program producer of Media Center, Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, Ms. Sujata Lochuk, to please take forward the first technical session, which will be taken by Professor Ramesh Chandrakar. Over to Sujata.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaste to one and all. First of all, I would like to request to you to put your cell phones on silent mode. The first session of this workshop is on role of cultural institutions in shaping arts and culture in global context. For this, we have our keynote speaker, Dr. Ramesh Chandrakar. Gaur sir is SOD of Kalamiti with Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, New Delhi. He also holds an additional charge of the director, NSD. A Fulbright scholar, Dr. Gaur has visited over 24 countries such as United States of America, United Kingdom, Russia, Germany, Japan, and so on in relation to various professional assignments. Dr. Gaur has been honored with more than 20 national and international awards. Some of the important ones include NCEEDP Ambassador Universal Design Award 2017, Turning Global Innovation Award 2017, Honorable Mention Category Royal Society of Chemistry RSC India Librarian's Choice Award to Dynamic Library Services, and many more. Dr. Gaur has significantly contributed to digital archiving of the Indian cultural heritage, promoting openness, particularly electronic pieces and preservation of Indian languages through language documentation and digital archiving, research data management and research methodology, awareness about the preservation of, access to documentary heritage, particularly through UNESCO Memory of the World Program, intangible cultural heritage, archival and information science, and so on. Now, I would like to invite Professor Gaur to discuss the subject of the session.
Thank you. So I extend once again a very hearty welcome to all of you. So numbers are not important. Important is that whomsoever is present here, how we can make it a more interactive and more meaningful workshop. So basically, I will try to give you an overview that how Ministry of Culture and other Ministry of Culture institutions are responsible for preservation of and access to Indian cultural heritage. I've been associated with cultural heritage almost 20 years and having multiple roles both at IGNCA and globally. Currently, I am representing India in 2 UNESCO programs, UNESCO Memory of the World Program. I am the international expert and I am the chair of the Global Task Force on this International Decade of Indigenous Languages. These are the 2 current programs. But in past, I have been associated with several countries in China, in South Korea, in Taiwan, in many places, in basically working out programs and policies on preservation and digitization of cultural heritage. So, I know you all been engaged in various kind of assignments. I begin with when we were in lockdown, and in lockdown institutions were closed and there was no access to the resources for the scholars and researchers. And in that particular time even there was no way to visit museums or various kind of other key cultural resource centers. So that time there was an urgent need that why we should not have something digitalization of the cultural heritage. And in this context, if you remember in one of the Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister mentioned this, that we have been trying to digitize our museums and libraries and archives. And there are certain virtual museums are created. And in the future to come, I think this is very important. So digital conversion of resources is one of the areas which I think we need to focus. Why? Because every print or electronic has certain kind of limitations, and we need to work a kind of program And when we talk about cultural heritage, it's classified in several categories. One is when we talk about documentary heritage. So any document in print, handwritten, including manuscripts, non-print or digital, which is basically a kind of form of material which you can feel, you can touch, which is based on certain kind of research conclusion, comes under documentary heritage. And UNESCO Memory of the World program is responsible for publicizing and making more visible in the world. Intangible cultural heritage, all kind of folk music, oral tradition, performing arts, social practice, rituals, festivals, traditional knowledge system, knowledge and practices concerning nature and universe, knowledge and skill to produce traditional craft. All this comes under ICH. And you know our age-old traditions from one generation to other generation. All these things are being passed from one generation to another generation, and not very well documented. When we talk about tangible, we have both movable and immovable cultural heritage. When we talk about movable cultural heritage, paintings, sculptures, coins, artifacts, art objects, all these museum objects comes under movable cultural heritage. Immovable cultural heritage, all kind of our archaeological sites and monuments and underwater cultural heritage, all this comes under immovable cultural heritage. Definitely we have a lot of natural cultural heritage in form of natural sites and cultural aspects such as cultural landscape, physical, biological, geological formation. So there are 3-4 international programs which IGNCA and other institutions are associated. When we talk about UNESCO program, like Memory of the World program, IGNCA is the nodal center. ICH, Sangeet Natak Academy is the nodal center for that. Tangible cultural heritage, particularly for immovable cultural heritage, Archaeological Survey of India is responsible for World Heritage Sites. But there are certain areas like when we talk about marine heritage or natural heritage, we have certain program like Project Mosam. So I think all this information is available on internet in number of days. Also, it is important that cultural heritage has a very significant role when we talk about UN Sustainable Development Goals. It connects us in various ways, like if you talk about SDG 11, make cities and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable, and target 11.4 specifically calls for standing efforts to protect and safeguard the world's cultural and natural heritage. So safeguarding cultural heritage is a very, very important thing. Neither we have a policy, we don't have a program, truly designed program in reducing disaster risk reduction or various kind of. So this is another very important area where we need to have attention in safeguarding our documentary heritage or our natural heritage or our ICS or tangible heritage. And also it is important when we talk about target 8.3 or 8.5, we also give a lot of focus on promotion of cultural artifacts and need to have a cultural policies. Creative industry is a big topic, but we are still lacking that kind of vision or mission to consider cultural infrastructure or having a kind of programs. Tourism is also directly related to all those things. Somewhere I strongly believe tourism and culture are very much connected with each other, and they need to be worked together. And I think it is very, very important that we need to many things. I have come out with a book which is on languages of India, which has been it was part of a project with UNESCO. And next thing, I'm coming with a directory of archives in India, which is, and third publication, which is one of our scholar is coming with a museum directory. All these things, because first to know what kind of information or heritage we have in this country. So IGNCA is trying to do something on that. Now when we talk about role of Ministry of Culture has divided over 45+ institutions in different categories. There are institutions responsible for documentary heritage or knowledge resource heritage. Name has been given, knowledge resource heritage. So all those institutions, archives, libraries, and all kind of institutions promoting literature, they come under this knowledge resource heritage. Then we talk about tangible cultural heritage, ASI and all other related institutions, museums, they come under tangible cultural heritage. Then intangible cultural heritage including Singing Academy, Musical Academy, or all North Journal Cultural Centers, all Journal Cultural Centers from North, South, East, West. They all come, including Kalakshetra Foundation, National School of Drama. They are responsible for preservation of various intangible cultural heritage also. Besides that, there are a number of other institutions, state archives, state libraries and museums, preserving manuscripts and other heritage of India. So when we talk about cultural heritage, it is very, very important that we need to have a proper cataloging, proper storage, digitization, and all kind of facilities for proper access. And I think we need to give a lot of focus on that. There are a lot of barriers in access to information. When we talk about barriers, we definitely lack. I think still our museums, our archives, and our libraries, if you could use a word called GLAM, galleries, archives, museums, they lack international standards and a lot of issues taking care of the, in this ICMC we have digitized more than 600,000 manuscripts, but it's still not available online because of limitation of funds and also certain other issues. All these barriers need to be resolved because somewhere I think we are very possessive. I strongly believe this cultural community, those people who are the custodians of the information, they are a mindset. Like we go to an archive, they create a lot of issues with the scholars. So we need to educate them that they are just custodians, they are not the controller of that information. So that should be made available to the people. Like you go to various state archives or even national archives. Sometimes even in 21st century, National Archive possesses more than, if you say, I think 80 crore documents in different forms. But out of that, even 1 crore has not been digitized. 1 crore pages have not been digitized. And we are going through such a technological transformation. So somewhere, I think it's a serious need that we need to. There are some efforts in digitization. If you talk about, I will let you know in the next slide on that. But what is important now? When we talk about our entire cultural heritage, it exists in different media, and every media has certain life. It may be paper, it may be palm leaf, it may be manuscript, it may be painting, it may be any kind of artifact, except something very, very like coins and other things. Most of the media has certain life. If we don't convert them in digital, then we may lose. We have already lost a lot. So it is very, very important that we should also, we don't have any single digital preservation program in this country for cultural heritage. If you go abroad, you will find hundreds of digital preservation projects happening. What I mean by digital preservation? Like we put digitized material. So we have to, first thing is we have to make it accessible on internet. Second is that how to ensure that this digital material is being preserved for long-term duration. Because media change, technology change, software change. So there are a lot of technological obsolescences. So digital preservation is a word or terminology which is used that how to preserve this memory of the word for the long-term preservation, maybe thousands of years without having a problem of technological transformation. And why this is important? Like now, digital technology is not very certain. A hard disk or a server can continue for 10 years, but it can crash in fraction of second also. So what we need, we need multiple copies to keep the stuff safe. So those kind of digital preservation program, there's a word we use, lots of copies keep stuff safe. So in that context, when we are in the age of uncertainty, digital uncertainty, because earlier when you have written something of clay tablets, it may survive for 10,000 years as an estimate, but now hard disk or other whatever hard disk or server, there's no surety about how long. So I think it's a very, very important need that we have to understand that digital preservation is a very, very important, and digital preservation with access. And there are so many advantages of that. So somewhere I think we are still lacking a proper vision, because there are a lot of projects initiated, but somehow they are still all some prototypes or some kind of work has been initiated, something has been done, but still in this country we don't have a single digital preservation project on cultural heritage. We don't have even a single successful example of a digital library. So digitization is not the solution. So digitization is just one step in the entire digital preservation process. Like National Library, Virtual Library of India was aimed, but somehow, in spite of like 6 years, 7 years, we are not able to achieve. So what is happening? Like, we are not coming together. What we need a kind of partnership between all stakeholders. And with due respect to our IT institution within, it may be NIC, it may be CDEC, they don't have that kind of expertise which is required. They may have IT people, but when we talk about creating a digital repository of cultural heritage, they don't have that kind of expertise. We definitely need big giant like Infosys or Wipro or TCS to come together, because this kind of preservation of digital heritage required a very expert system of working. I can give an example how it can work. I'm associated with when I was in JNU, so I'm part of a team responsible for giving facilities for persons with visual impairment. And there is a group where Mr. Dipesh Manoj Shah and others, I'm also part of that. And we approached TCS to develop a digital library software for persons with disability, and they do it on complimentary without any cost. And now that particular digital library is having documents which are accessible to all the blind people living in India or abroad, because it is a free. You have to just register it. You have to give a proof that you are a visually impaired person. You can access those documents, and millions of documents have been uploaded. So what we need a proper planning, and somewhere I think there's another problem the libraries and archives are facing, is that there are mindsets. People have started believing that everything is available on the internet. The poor fellows, they don't know. Internet will have only thing what you put it on internet. Internet is not creating anything. When you have not uploaded your Indian cultural heritage, how will you access on that internet? So even our bureaucrats, I remember, I will not name, but I have listened to some of the ministers in some states claiming we don't need libraries because internet is there. Internet is substitute. And most of them they don't know, Google does not index more than 15% web content. 80 to 85% web contents are not accessible through Google, because Google only index certain things which are required by masses or paid through sources or something like that. So I think this is another very, very important aspect, that we have such a vast heritage of manuscripts, we have such a vast heritage of cultural materials. Most of our museums, most of our archives, most of our cultural heritage rare materials, some have been digitized, but there is no way to access it online. I think this is a serious concern, because what will happen? These manuscripts which were preserved for hundreds of years in different media, we cannot keep it forever. After some time, paper will have some life, palm leaf have certain life, it will go away. So unless we digitize them and make it accessible in a certain kind of format. So this is one very pertinent issue which need attention of the people, that this a country which is known as the IT superpower, and our own cultural heritage material is in shambles. Like, and it is mainly because whenever we talk anything about digital libraries or digital things, everything is being referred to CTEC or NIC, and they, like a give example, in 2010, before going to JNU, I was here, they signed an agreement with CTEC Pune, and Ministry of IT given 20 crore for that project to develop a digital expository system. And 4 or 5 years, nothing has come out. These governments, even this Bombay, IT Bombay was given 75 crore for development of National Virtual Library of India. What happens, like, people are not understanding that this is a collaborative process. You need librarians, you need IT persons, and you need experts who can develop good technologies for the preservation. And you need, so I think somewhere we are working in isolation. So money is being spent. I'm not saying government is giving money, but that money is not wisely spent or not properly spent. So somewhere I think a big drive is required, that most of our libraries and archiving councils, institutions, Ministry of Culture, they budget most rare and most valuable material. And that need to be not just digitized, but it is also should be open access, should be available on internet. These manuscripts, which are in large number, most of these manuscripts are in languages like Pali, Prakriti, Sharda, Nandi Nagari, Tiglari or Granth. Very few people know these languages. What will happen? After some time, those kind of scholars will go away. These all manuscripts will become base paper. So why we can't take an opportunity to make all these manuscripts, digitized manuscripts, accessible on other open access? Let the scholar all over the world should have an opportunity to decipher it. At least decipher is the most important option, because you cannot force anybody to learn a particular script or language. It is on the matter of choice of the people. What career they want to take it. So if you don't have the people who understand or read that particular language or script, all this manuscript heritage become a part of like this paper. Because so those kind of awareness is very much required among the stakeholders, some kind of discussion, and it is not just one write-up or one reporting. It requires a lot of serious coverage on this aspect. That's why I'm giving so much attention to that. When we talk about IGNCA, you will have an opportunity to visit our cultural archive or our library after lunch, because basically this session was supposed to be taken by Dr. Doshi. I was busy in some, because at NSD we are organizing this Marathon Mahotsav, so I was busy in that, but now he's also not free, that's why I have preponed it. And IGNCA, we have a division called Calamity, which I'm heading, which is having a reference library, manuscript unit, it has cultural archive, it has slide unit. So it has almost 3 to 4 lakh books, and one of the most important part of this is the personal collection of various eminent scholars. We have 24 personal collections. This is a unique program. And these two personal collections, starting from Acharya Jari Prasad Dwivedi, Dr. Kapila Varsha, or Dr. Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, these personal collections, well, you know, when you talk about a scholar always work a lot on focusing on their expertise. So they have most of the valuable books in these collections. Then when we talk about our cultural archives, we have 45 personal collection of eminent scholars. It is divided into 6 categories. Like we have on music, on dance, on sculptures, and also we have something on related to photographs. like eminent collection of photographers like Raja Bindya. We have even his entire studio and photographs. There are so many collections. So this also needs a lot of, a story of each and every collection can give a lot of information about all these personal collections. Then photography unit, which has started microfilming of, in 1989, INC started microfilming of manuscripts of different libraries, and we have 2,86,000 in microfilm format and also in digital format now. The slide unit contains more than 1 lakh visuals on different aspects of, like suppose you want to do some story and you want to, some photograph of some world heritage sites or any festivals, or you will find a lot of collection here to include in the. This is a reason-wise collection we have got it in manuscript. Apart from that, this National Mission Board manuscript, which is also a department of IGNC now, was started in 2003, and it has cataloged 43.5 lakh manuscripts. It has helped a lot of preservation, and another 3 lakhs have been digitized under this program, and a number of other activities this program is doing. We are also doing a course on manuscriptology and photography. So all these manuscripts which are available in various difference is that all these original manuscripts are not with IGNC. These are with the concerned library. We have only a microfilm or digital copies of these manuscripts. And this is some of the example, like how manuscripts are available, the scroll or the verse paper, palm leaf. Or then another important resource which we have started creating, we have an audio video. It's an open access database. It's freely accessible. We have already digitized 30,000 hours of video recording on different aspects of Indian cultural heritage, traditions. Like you are looking for some old video recording or something which is like, you will find a video clip which is of the time of when Mahatma Gandhi's ashes were sent to different locations, and some clips are there. You will find a lot of valuable rare clips in this particular database. It is also accessible free. We also developed a Sangam app, which is featuring all 2005 devotional tracks featuring 400 artists. Then we are working on this Vedic Heritage portal. A portal covers various kind of basic recitation, text, publication, a single window access to basic heritage knowledge system. This is work is going on, something already available under open access. When we talk about this, these programs, like I already mentioned, that how to connect or how to publicize our world heritage. We are responsible for this UNESCO memory program and language part. And if you want to know more about UNESCO Memory of the World program, you can go to the website. It will give you complete details. This program is open to all, and it has 3 types of register: international register, regional register, national register. So international register is operated by UNESCO headquarters. Regional register, like in we comes under Asia Pacific, so it is being maintained by a group called MOGCAP, which is based, headquarters is in South Korea. And national program is national register. We have not created many of such it organizes kind of meeting, workshop, helping some projects and other things. These all members of the World Registers invite nominations every 2 years. There is a cycle of 2 years. So in 2 years you can submit 2 nominations in international register, 3 in regional register, and national register you can have as much as you want, because that's the. And what is the process like? Generally, nominations are invited. Agency as a nodal center, we give a lot of publicity, and after that process, a dossier is prepared. Dossier is being sent to agency, and then it is being forwarded through Ministry of Culture to UNESCO. But unfortunately, like last cycle, despite our best publishing efforts, we didn't receive even a single nomination from anybody. And all through nomination, I have to get it prepared in IGNCA with the help of scholars. So it is because people, first of all, people don't know what is program. Second, people don't know how to prepare a dossier because there is a certain kind of criteria to prepare a dossier. And so the situation in entire South Asia is not very good. Like in international register we have 9. National register we don't have. Any of the South Asian countries are not having national register. That's the situation. Regional register we don't have any submission so far. National register need to be created everywhere. So all this document which is being selected based on the rarity that it must be a very rare or most valuable, and there are certain kind of process. So we also need to create awareness to train the people on that. I will not go more into that because I want to say a few things more. Like these are the submissions already inscribed in UNESCO Memory of the World program. These are 9. There is a joint nomination system also, like we can have joint nomination with other countries. There is no number of limitation on joint nominations. Now, when we talk about the manuscript heritage and languages, because linguistic diversity is as important as cultural diversity. If you have to preserve your cultural diversity, you have to preserve linguistic diversity. These are the various kind of scripts of the manuscripts available in IGNCA. Now you can understand how many people know it, except few modern languages like Telugu and other things. There are very countable scholars who understand all these languages. So it's a very concern that how to like really preserve these, and we also need to understand that language and script are two different things. When you talk about like Marathi language, today Marathi language script is Devanagari, but before 1950 it was Modi. So time to time the scripts have been changed, and languages are a big concern because I will ask my team to show you a copy of my book. According to the book I have published, we have 1,754 languages. Out of that, we don't have any information on 949 languages. There is no data available except name. And name, I got it from Census Survey of 1961. In 1961 Census Survey, we have mentioned that India is having that much number of languages. But after that, there is no research done, no survey done. What is the status of those languages? Except 500 plus languages, rest languages are totally unknown to this country. And we are so like poor in doing certain kind of research. And now this is an opportunity, this international decade of indigenous languages is an opportunity for us. So this language endangerment is a very, very critical issue which needs to be publicized. People need to be made aware that how to preserve our languages. See, there are a number of ways where we can promote and preserve our languages. We need to work on that, but despite our best efforts, it may not be possible. Like this is some of the glimpses of the script, ancient script we are talking about. That. Like this is the script Brahmi, which has not been fully deciphered. Somebody contacted me a few days before that. He claimed that he has deciphered, but still we don't have any authentic source on this Brahmi. Kharosthi, people know very well. We have scholars. Granth, we have scholars. Sarda also, a number of people. There are a lot of training programs being done on that. Mewari also, people know it. Nandinagari, people know it. Modi, we have some scholars. Chakri, we have. So, what I am trying to come to the point is that we cannot keep all languages alive because languages, keeping languages alive is my responsibility, or any institution cannot do it. It is the community who can keep the language alive. If community stops speaking a language, it cannot be kept alive. But what is the best way to preserve them? The best way is to do language documentation and preservation. At least we can document all our languages and create a database. When suppose in the future somebody want to learn it, or we have some document, at least we can use that database to decipher those kind of documents in the future. So language documentation is something is not a very important discussion in the university system. It is discussed a lot in the Western world. So INC has done an agreement MOU with University of North Texas in USA. Before joining, taking this charge of MSc director, I was been also here because of that additional responsibility. Looking. We have 9 PG diploma courses, and one of the diploma we are planning on this language documentation and archiving. And the basic purpose of this language documentation archiving is that we should preserve all relevant material, dictionaries, thesaurus, and all kind of pedagogical material. And that should be available for future generations. Like suppose somebody wants to learn some language which is being extinct or is no more spoken. Like, for example, all these ancient scripts are not the spoken languages. Nobody is speaking Brahmi, nobody is speaking Sarada, nobody is speaking Nandi Nagari or Granth. Nobody is speaking, but still we have people who understand it. So that's the best way that at least we should identify out of these 949 or 751 languages, we should identify. Because only 22 languages are official languages. Rest, there is no focus on it. So we should identify certain languages and preserve it. And all the resources should be preserved. So in future, if we have documents related to these languages, or suppose somebody wants to learn it, they can use this language documentation. So preservation of languages is another very important area. And there are a number of ways to preserve language by developing OC